Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the Tasman Racing League Oval Series Season 1. And we return for round 4 out of 10 at Indianapolis today. The NASCAR Oval not going on that infield track, which I am oh so used to racing. Today it is going to be the four corners around this wonderful 4.04 kilometer circuit, the Stock Car Oval in the USA, of course. 221 meters of altitude here, and it's 34 degrees Celsius out on track. It's hot, and we're going to go for a fantastic 60-lap race today. Lone qualifying happening at the moment, 10 minutes in length. We'll head over to the results once they come on through safety car in operation. Partial cloud out there, a little bit of wind, not going to do too much for the drivers, but we'll see. It's going to be a tricky one on the tyres, as always here at the Oval Series at Tasman Racing League. Bringing you all the broadcasting, it is TrackSpotTV. Your commentators tonight, John Wright and George Cooke. I am, of course, George Cooke. And we're bringing in our Scottish legend back once again to give us all the information about what we're going to expect to see out there today. Welcome, John.
Good evening, George. How are we doing? Welcome along, folks. It is another round of educating George on why track racing is better. Oval racing is better than track racing.
Oh, I think I caught you there. I caught you there.
You did. It's a Freudian slip. He's done himself. He's thrown himself under the bus already, and we've not even started yet. It's Tasman Racing League. How are we doing, folks? Welcome back in. It is for those less educated amongst us, of course, this course is 2.5 miles long. I'm not sure what these kilometer, I'm not sure exactly what they are entirely that George speaks of, but yeah, the track is 2.5 miles long, exactly down to the millimeter. This one was built way back when 1909 they put this track together, and before George starts, no, that was years and decades before I was born. Thanks very much, George. It is an integral part of motorsporting history. It is one of the tracks that is steeped in the most history worldwide itself. Spa, the Nürburgring. These names roll off the tongue, and we will see the cars rolling off into the walls quite a few times around here. 4 very sharp turns in oval terms, and as George said, not only the tyres that they're going to be looking after in this one, we've heard them talking about it already. A bit of the old fuel saving while you're in the slipstream could see the difference between a podium and a DNF if we run out of fuel, and a few of those already, George. So today, I'm interested in seeing how this one plays out.
Yeah, we've heard from a number of our drivers who've ended up on the podium, of course, and fuel and tyres is absolutely key. This has been a big part, I think, of my learnings. I will try and continue to catch you out, but just keep on doing your thing for now. On the right of your screen at the moment, the season's schedule up, and it's 15th of October today. Broadcasting to you guys live on the TrackSpotTV YouTube. Give us a like and subscribe. In the description, you can find the link to the Discord for Tasman Racing League. Go and join in. Plenty of space and spots in the Oval Series and the Road Series. Go and join in. Then, of course, next week we'll have Atlanta. Then we'll go to our mid-season race, which is going to be an interesting one because Bathurst with these cars. Oh, I'm looking forward to that on the 29th of October. 5th of November sees us go to the Auto Club, followed by Talladega, Martinsville, Michigan, and Miami to finish off the second half of the season. Looking forward to seeing where we go. Let's bring up the points as they are after round 3. And round 3, John and Iowa, was absolutely fascinating. This is how it all slips out of the grid. Chris Bleakley on top for 1-9 on 194.5 points. Clear by 14 points over Damien Coates for Wright Rear Racing. Tom Williams with his first win, finally at last at Iowa for Phantom Sim Sports on 164 points. Can Chris Bleakley keep getting himself on the podium? It'll be a 4th podium in the row if he can do it. Kelvin Clark in 4th for 1-9 on 149 points, followed by Lucas Blake, still searching for that. Ooh, very, very tricky to get podium here at the Oval Series that he runs. Then it is Ryan Llewellyn in 6th position on 114, followed by equal points for 7th and 8th. That's Wade Georgeson and Nicholas Heath. Lewis Buhagia returns today to the track. Great to see him back for Hybrid Sim Sports on 93 points. Then it's Nick Burling on 89, shared with Jason Hutchins, your top 10. Then it is, well, technically 11. Jared Williams in 12th place for Phantom Sim Sport. Then it's Matthew Searle returning today as well. Jordan T. Nelson, Jack Kelly Reid, Adam Van Dongen, Boone Blake, Daniel Hutchins, and Cliff Potter. I've got a number of new names coming to the grid today, including, let me find it here, it is Dylan DeBono for Velocity Sim Lab. So we've got a full grid of 16 cars today, John. That's going to make it extra exciting.
Yes, it is. The Noah's Ark formation will be in full effect today. It'll be 2x2 for quite some time. Good to see some new names joining the grid, and of course some of the season regulars vying for their podiums, and it's pretty close up at the top of those points, with plenty of points still up for grabs. Oh, I love these championships that don't get decided till the final checkered flag, George. It keeps the blood pumping.
It certainly does. We are about a minute and a half away from the end of lone qualifying. Then we'll go to gridding and show you the starting order of this race. Let us know in chat if you've got any questions, if you want to know more about the Oval Series or what we're doing here with these amazing cars. Tell you to get into chat and let us know. John, give us a sort of bird's eye view from the driver's perspective. Chris Bleakley obviously leading the championship. Got a lot of work to do to make sure he's ahead. He's got all the fast drivers on the grid today, so he's going to have to work extra hard, or is it just coming down to that luck?
I mean, they say that 90% of luck in sporting endeavour is skill. So if there is a lot of luck involved, there's going to be a bit of skill involved as well, and there certainly is going to be some skill involved. There's a phrase I've used a lot this season, and I'm going to continue to use it, and it is so appropriate in oval racing. You've got to know when to hold them, and you've got to know when to fold them. You've got to be able to sit in that slipstream. You've got to be the hunter. You've got to be the hunted. You've got to be able to perform both of those roles perfectly while making strategic decisions on things like pit stops. Obviously, they go straight out the window as soon as we'll have a yellow flag and everything gets completely reset. I would hate to be a race engineer for oval racing. Track racing is so much easier than this. You just put in fuel and tyres and away you go. But certainly the strategies on this one, for a track like Indianapolis, completely different to last week's short track. We've got a track that's wide enough for the drivers who use banking, that's not overly generous as far as the grip goes, and a lot of slipstream to be garnered by the drivers as they charge along these long straights. So we could see some interesting overtakes, but we could also see a lot of bump drafting and a lot of top speeds. We'll see some packed breakaway. I'm just talking too much, George. I'm so excited. Let's get the qualifying results.
It's going to be exciting indeed. Oh, we've got a little bit of a problem with our overlay. We'll try and sort that out in a moment. Here we go. That should sort it out. And here we are, the qualifying results for round 4. Lucas Blake again on pole position ahead of Lewis Buhajar for Hybrid Sim Sport. On the second row of the grid, it'll be Chris Bleakley, followed by Wade Georgeson, Dylan De Bono on debut here at the Oval Series in 5th position. Alongside him, Damien Coates for Wright Rear Racing, nearly half a second down on the top time. Jack Kelly Reid in 7th position, followed by Ryan Llewellyn for Black Cobra Motorsports. Then on the 5th row of the grid, it is Kelvin Clark, and he is going to be joined there by Adam Van Dongen, who surprised us all last time out at Iowa with his raw pace. It is Kelvin Clark in 9th. Oh, sorry, it is Nicholas Heath in 11th, I should say. Jason Hutchins, Matthew Searle, Boone Blake, Jared Williams, and Daniel Hutchins. Right, it's time for us to head out on the grid and get this show on the road. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you out there in a moment's time. All right, well, here you go, ladies and gentlemen. We are doing some shenanigans off the start line for some reason, but we are about to go under, of course, the pace car to begin this race. So keep an eye out. We've got a full lap to go before we get things underway. And John, I mean, as much as your ranting is something that I'm very, very familiar with, I think the ladies and gentlemen in the chat absolutely love it because you've got so much information. Give us a little idea. What's the start going to be like at this track? What are we looking forward to turn 1?
Well, what we're actually looking for is turn 3, but we'll talk about turn 1 first. Turn 3 is going to be the interesting turn on the opening lap, but certainly turn 1, it is a very, very, very long run they've got up until the start-finish line. They don't get released until nearly the end of the start-finish straight, and yeah, you can see from the banking there, it's another one where the bank is not very steep. There's not a lot of centrifugal force to hold the cars onto the track when they're coming around these corners. So it is going to be a bit of back-end management again. The rear tyres are going to have to play nice. Certainly in the turn 1, we're going to see everyone go 2x2. It's turn number 3 for me on lap 1 that's the interesting one, because the tyres are just getting up to temperature and we've just come along one of the long straights on the course. So a lot of slipstream, a lot of speed getting carried into turn 3, and I think at the end of lap 1 we'll see some shuffling and shaking a little bit, and then the drivers will settle in for maybe about 2 to 3 laps and then look to take some places if they can. It's always good to get an idea of what your opponent's car and what your opponent's doing in each corner before you go for any moves. Get a bit of track knowledge, because qualifying is a completely different affair, of course, to actually running a race out here because of the slipstream. So the laps here are going to be about 3 to 4 seconds quicker than we've seen in qualifying. So it's a lot more pace and a lot less grip that the drivers have got to deal with as they're coming around the last corner, George. We've got 60 laps ahead of us. It's going to be interesting.
It certainly will, and we'll go to our green flag man up in the podium position there. Here we are. It is going to be Lucas Blake from Buhajar, from Chris Bleakley. Can Bleakley get himself back onto the podium at the end of this race? We are green flag racing, and for some reason the safety car has decided to come on. No, it hasn't. It's been turned off, and away we go for the first bit of racing here at round 4, and it's a decent start off the line for our man in P1. Real Steel taking the lead, but it's already going to be 2 by 2 as Lewis Burger looks for the inside line into 2, and right behind them, already building a gap to Chris Bleakley, Damien Coates, and him and Dylan De Bono, all trading places for third position. So the number 3 car wants to be up there, taking this away as much as possible from Chris Bleakley. And now the critical quarter, turn 3, in we go. This is where the number 18 will have the advantage, and maybe, just maybe, Blake can hold it around the outside. He's doing a lovely job, and I think critically, Bleakley is looking to work maybe with the outside line man as they head onto the main straight and back for the first lap of 60. Exciting stuff. And John, I'll tell you what, not a bad start to this race.
Indeed it is, yeah. Lewis Buhajar and Blake absolutely going for it. As I said, turn number 3, the two of them out side by side. You can see the rest of the pack catching up to them now. Is De Bono on debut, making a great start, making himself up a couple of places already and getting past Bleakley, which is no mean feat. Not many people have managed to do that this season. Blake on the outside line in the lead of the race. Got Buhajar going to follow in along straight number 1. Yeah, I call this straight number 1 and the start finish straight number 2, just in case anyone is wondering what the references are. But look how close they are again. Blake into that all-important turn number 3, gets a very good entrance indeed. Buhajar following behind the Bono, Bleakley, Coates, and then Kelly Reid just ahead of Van Dongen. Van Dongen again having showing some good pace on his debut last season. De Bono showing good last race. De Bono showing good pace in his debut here. Blake with a 52.3 to get things started up. That's not a bad first flying lap. We've got Johnson's already out. Johnson's already out of the race. He's 3 laps down, and we're on lap number 3, so he's had an accident at the end of the warm-up lap, and he's found himself into the pits as we've got the number 2 just running a little bit wide there. He's going to lose a lot of momentum. We're going to see a couple of cars shoot up the inside. That's 1, 2, 3 positions lost. Oh, a bit wavered into turn number 1 and 2 there on the way out. He's completely losing positions hand over fist. That's 3 of them that have gone absolutely sailing past there. That's a good move by Hutchins. Oh, he looked like the back end just stepping out ever so slightly. It looks like Williams and Blake are having a solid battle just behind. Certainly Blake and Buhajar still up at the front. There's only a 1/10.5 separating these. His second place man Buhajar setting the fastest lap of the race in that slipstream. Oh, did someone say touching the walls? We're only 4 laps in and they're already pushing their luck on those.
Oh my goodness. Oh. Well, Lewis Buhajar has been toying with the walls. You know what happens if he does hit them, he'll lose a lot of pace. In fact, he has already lost a lot of pace here. You can see the gap to Blake now bigger than the gap to De Bono behind. He's now only 0.3 of a second. Keep an eye on those intervals in the top left timing tower. 4th lap, just it's gone by so quickly. Pit exit for Georgeson. I think he's coming back out on track, and correct me if I'm wrong, John, if he rejoins, then he will have the opportunity to get himself back. Maybe not to the lead lap, because it's 4 laps down, so you'd have to get 3 safety cars for that.
So first off, apologies to everyone that's been watching the series so far. I've been calling it a joker lap. It's actually a lucky dog. Oh, we've got Boone Blake with a meatball.
We do indeed. We have a crash.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can queue up a replay for that, because something has clearly happened. Oh, someone's off the wall, and the rear end goes, and that's another barrier collision. Oh, it looks so innocuous, but it's unfortunately ended in a rather nasty slam into the barrier.
Yeah, Boone Blake there. We've already seen Buhaja up at the front. We know the pace he's got. I did say this was going to be another race of making the back end behave as much as possible. This is going to end with everyone safely making it out of the corner. Sorry. Bit of foreshadowing there. That one looked like it was going all kinds of pear-shaped, all kinds of quickly. But yeah, back end simulator. I think we'll call this course. We've already seen Buhaja with that, and we've seen Blake there with a bit of a wiggle as well. So difficult to keep these cars in check. Johnson still in the pit lane, even though he's on his way out. And Boone Blake in with a meatball. Of course, the meatball flag is a black flag with a yellow circle in the middle. And it means that you must enter the pits within the next 3 laps or you will be removed from the race because your car is carrying so much damage. So that is Blake in with a meatball. So Indianapolis doing Indianapolis things. We're already down. Well, we're 5 laps in. We've got 2 drivers into the pits already. None of them on sanctioned pit stops. So we've got plenty of time before we see the rest of the drivers coming in. They'll certainly be hoping. I don't want to curse to the commentator, but we don't have any yellow flags so far, which has been absolutely solid. We've already seen some of these cars stepping out. Here we go. Front right wheel camera. Absolutely love this on the NASCARs. You can see how much that slipstream just pulls Heath along behind Van Dongen, even on the curves. And that's exactly what I'm talking about there. The difference, George, is incredible between the pace that they get in qualifying and the pace, obviously, that they get when they're in the slipstream. As we've seen at a couple of courses, it can be a 25 to 30 kilometre an hour difference in top-end speed being in the slipstream, and he's certainly using that to his advantage through turns 1, 2, and out of turn number 3, he finds himself with a cheeky little move here as Heath and Van Dongen still going side by side. Van Dongen makes his way past Williams. Sorry, that's Van Dongen going past Williams. So Van Dongen finding himself some serious pace here. He's moved over to say, look, I'm going to be the head of the slipstream train. I know you were thinking about going past, but then we've got Clark who says to himself, well, I'll tell you what, you two go side, but you two go nose to tail. I will take that inside line. There's Boone Blake heading back out of the pits. Johnson is back out on track as well. So all 16 cars back out. Oh, we didn't get to discuss the lucky dog rule. So the only people that qualify for the lucky dog rule is if you are 1 lap down.
Yeah.
Any more than 1 lap down, you won't get a lucky dog. So it's the lead car that is 1 lap down. If you're more than 1 lap down, I'm afraid, well, yeah, you're hung out to dry. You just need to drive faster.
Well, admittedly, you become
Williams goes for it.
You become the unlucky dog, in fact, in that case.
Indeed.
So, yeah, and I believe it is the only
very unlucky
first driver who is 1 lap down that gets to unlap themselves. So, yeah, it is a tricky little rule set to get your head around. But I think we have gotten our head around it at long last. We do see a couple of cars going very, very close to each other. That is Hutchins and Hutchins. It's Hutchins and Hutchins. You couldn't make up a better name for a great movie in an orange car, but we've got yellow and green on the track at the moment. Unfortunately, bad entry there for Mr. Dylan Hutchins. I think actually I'm completely wrong. No, that is actually Jason Hutchins. No, it's not. It is another car. We will find out. That is Boone Blake. That is who it is. It is Boone Blake. So one other thing to mention as well, while we did say we have Tom Williams on the grid, he is not on the grid. Only his friend Jared Williams on the grid at the moment out there. Let's take a little look at the gains made so far in this race. No positions for Blake and Buhaja. De Bono up 2 positions. It's a good qualifying on debut, and it's a Chevrolet. He's improved on that immediately, up 2 positions ahead of Chris Bleakley, our 3-time podium sitter, looking for another today. Damien Coates up 1, and of course a lot of that as a result of Georgeson not making it past really the first lap. He's out again. No, that is Boone Blake out. So he has had another issue by the looks of it. I'm just trying to find if he's had another off-track issue. I don't think he has, John, but so he's just gone. He's just gone.
If he's having some kind of technical issue, because whether it's real racing or sim racing, technical gremlins. Oh, Duke Benny, that's the wall that's collected both of them. They survived that. How on earth have they survived that? The laws of physics have been defied. This is a Roadrunner. Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote. Someone please hand these gentlemen the a book on how physics works. Actually, don't, because yeah, they're managing to survive. That was an incredible save there by Coates and Blakely, very nearly bouncing off the wall. As you see, George, and I didn't mention as well. Oh wow! What a slingshot up that inside line he's got as well. They're going to go side by side. Side draft is strong around here. So is the nose to tail. You'd think these two should really be bunt drafting to try and catch back up. Coates is trying to get himself. Yeah, there we go. Just pops himself past. Sorry, Blakely, sorry. Yeah, these two definitely need to be working together to try and catch up because they've got a big gap. They're already 2.5 seconds behind Bahadur. And I tell you what, Lewis Blake as well. What a drive he's having at the moment. He's 1.4 ahead. He's got absolutely no slipstream whatsoever, and he is moolering it up at the front. The only thing Bahadur could do now is really try and save his tyres to go for an extra lap at the end of the stint to try and make back some time. But he's certainly, Lewis Bahadur, in absolute no man's land at the minute with two behind. It could very easily make it very difficult for him very, very quickly if they start working together. Another solid pack being led by Van Dongen. He's up that place ahead of Llewellyn, Clark and Serra, but they are right in his slipstream. They can taste his exhaust at the moment. There's only 0.7 of a second separating that group of three drivers just on the edge of the top 10. As we're on board with Kelly Reid, watching Coates and De Bono, all three of these drivers making up a slick spot at the start of the race.
This is critical.
Man down. Wow.
Yeah, because De Bono was formerly in the third position, and he's gone into the pits. I think he must have had a massive incident somewhere, or certainly enough damage to cause him to jump into the pit lane on lap 13. Formerly third place, so this elevates him back up, elevates Bleakley back up into third position, and this battle now becomes the battle for fourth place essentially on track.
Yeah, and I think De Bono as well. I think what actually happened there, this has happened to me on this course. You make a pig's ear of the exit on turn number 4, and you end up in the pit lane. It's kind of like Kailami, Cheetah. You hit the sausage curve the wrong way. And I think what I saw there, unless I'm mistaken, De Bono, the back end, his tyres were absolutely smoking, and he's been given a black flag penalty as well for violating. Whoa, penalty! He's just violated that wall. He's been given a penalty for violating the pit speed lane. I think De Bono has lost the back of the car and ended up in the pits inadvertently. I don't think he meant to end up in the pits there. And the black flag, I think, confirms that because he's gone into the pits so quickly. He couldn't get the pace down, and he's given himself a drive-through penalty. So De Bono, after a great start on debut, is going to find himself with a drive-through penalty and another trip into the pits as we see another car bouncing violently off the walls. Here we go then. So here is De Bono. Is this him coming? Look at the back end, step out, hustle. Oh no, so this, okay, he was trying to brake to come into the pits. He just, wow.
He just didn't brake it early enough at all. You saw him slam into the wall there, trying to skim off as much speed as he possibly could, but it wasn't nearly enough. It looked relatively intentional, I've got to be honest with you, but clearly just misjudged the entry. Either way, black flag for De Bono. He's in the pits. He will hopefully come back out soon if he hasn't had any in real life emergencies. This battle has been absolutely going off. Everyone is clipping the wall here. What is making them clip the wall? We talked about camber of the track, John, at Iowa, right? What are we dealing with here? Because I remember a few comments about how the camber and the tyres were going to interact this race.
Indeed, yeah. I think it's all about slipstream as well, George. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so slipstream's involved as well, but they're just carrying too much pace into the corners. There's not enough lift in coast on the way in. You have to be really, really, really precise on the accelerator to get the right amount of lift and coast through the corners. You don't want to be braking. Tap of the brakes and the back end will be in front of you. So it's all about getting that little bit of lift and just trying to nurse that line through. And they're trying to nurse the tyres as well by running the corner exit as wide as possible, of course. The tighter you are, the more force is put on the tyres and the more rubber you will leave on the track. And you want all the rubber to remain on the tyres for as long as possible. And a few drivers just finding out the hard way that that's not always the easiest, as we're over a quarter of the way through the race. Van Dongen is on his way into the pit, 16 laps in. De Bono is still in there, so De Bono's back in to serve that penalty. Van Dongen comes in for a pit stop. That means Johnson will be on the same lap as De Bono. Blake is out of the race, and the other Blake, he is out of the race up at the front, but Buhagiar is closing in. That gap now down to 1.1 seconds as we're coming to the end of the first stint, and it has been a quick first stint. As we can see, Blake there just running his absolute best race at the moment. This has been a start of the gods from Blake up at the front. There's no way he expected to have this kind of lead at this point in the race. He would expect, oh wow, Buhagiar again, so close to that wall on exit, George. It really is. They're on a knife edge up at the front here.
It's fantastic. Buhagiar, of course, missed the last couple of races, was present in round 1, but not at round 2 or round 3. Returns today to challenge the for the race win today. Tom Williams, of course, our previous race winner at Iowa, and Chris Bleakley with one to his name as well. So we've had a number of different people on the top step of the podium throughout this season of racing. Lucas Blake yet to grace the top step with his presence. He'll be looking to do that today, and this performance so far has kind of given me the idea that he may well be in a situation to do that. In previous races, I mean, I'm looking all the way back to round 1, John, the start of that race was absolutely something else at Daytona. We had crashes and incidents all the way throughout the grid, major incidents, in fact. I think it was about 3 or 4 safety cars. It was just chaos. But unfortunately, Lucas Blake was one of the victims of the early contacts that was happening in that race. And since then, he's really just not been able to pull a good finish back his way. Now finding himself on the podium for qualifying and able to get away cleanly at the beginning of this race. I guess this track is nice and wide. You know, at least if you can get a good start to the race, you can manage your strategy, manage your tires, manage your fuel. And that's exactly what he's doing as he continues to pull out a decent gap to Lewis Buhagiar. It's gone up by 0.4 of a second. I wonder if Buhagiar's maybe just clipped the wall somewhere for the moment. Of course, Chris Bleakley talking to us passionately about his sim racing journey in the oval racing space as well, and learning to love what is an incredible, incredible sport. He finds himself still in 3rd, but closing on Buhagiar. So that is the battle for the top 3 spots. Damien Coates in 5th position, and he is chasing down Kelly Reid in the Ford. So Ford versus Ford here in 4th and 5th position. Behind them, Jared Williams, 2.5 seconds, and then Kelvin Clark switching a lot of positions at the moment back here in these gaps, John. They just get so close so quickly. Suddenly you find yourself on a rear wing.
You really do. Much like Bleakley and Buhagiar, actually, George, he would jump up to 2nd and 3rd place as Clark finds himself under pressure. But Bleakley is certainly closing that gap. Buhagiar doesn't have the pace at the minute. Bleakley most certainly does as we come along the start-finish straight. And there is the slipstream pulling him along. It's like a Dyson Hoover on the back of that. And I tell you what, he's absolutely going for it in the turn number 1 there. Buhagiar is losing pace. I wonder if he's maybe waiting on a yellow flag to come out so he can pit under safety car, but he's hemorrhaging pace at the moment, and Bleakley has made that look like he's absolutely standing still. Buhagiar is a wily campaigner. He is going to jump straight back into the slipstream. These two now really do need to start working together if they're going to put Blake under any kind of pressure. He's had absolutely all his own way out at the front. We'll have seen Buhagiar go, his back end go sideways slightly. So his back tyres will be slightly more worn than Bleakley. And Bleakley making the most of it at the moment, and he's already put half a second between himself and Buhagiar. Buhagiar definitely struggling for pace at this stage of the race. Yeah, and Blake out at the front, no struggle at all, George.
No, I wonder if he's gone too quick, too early. I mean, this is probably something that we saw Lucas Blake kind of suffer from in the last couple of rounds. He does go very hard on the tyres, very hard on the fuel early on. He obviously in first place, you want to be building a gap. It's exactly what we saw Tom Williams do to very, very maximum effect in the previous round where he did pick up that win. So I wonder if Lucas Blake has maybe not saved, or he's now having to save tyres and fuel at the lead of this race. I mean, that gap is coming down rapidly. Bleakley has obviously done enough fuel saving and enough tyre saving to really go for it. And you can see the difference in the entry angle. Through we go into turn 3 and now turn 4. And you can see wide line, not a lot of grip there from Blake. He's sliding to the outside line.
Yeah, he took his chance to get past Buhagiar. That's maybe cost him a little bit of tyres, but now we're back to within 1.3 seconds for the top 3. They're 4.5 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. Coates and Kelly Reid would probably do well actually to slow up a bit and let Williams and Heath. They need a train of 4 cars to make their way along. I did think we'd see a lot more 2x2 on this one, but they're certainly spreading out and going for the single file approach on this one. We've got... Oh, Georgeson has just come out of the pits. Van Dongen's been out for a while. De Bono and Blake. De Bono's still in the pits. Blake completely out of the race, but there's 4 cars that have been in. Van Dongen came in on lap number 7, so he's already done almost the first. He's almost done a full stint again on his tyres after a shortened first stint. Blake still out in the lead. Bleakley now closing. Bahadjar is tumbling down. He's now 1.2 seconds behind. And in fact, Kelly Reid is closing. Bahadjar 0.7 of a second slower than Bleakley on that lap. Now, I think he's going to try and... Is he going to try and get to lap 30 to at least 50-50 of the race? Or is he going to come in a little bit earlier and try and sort out the pace deficit that he's got? Because a race win is looking less and less likely. And if Kelly Reid's got anything to do with this, we're going to see Bahadjar ejected from the podium before he comes into the pit. So I'm not sure what is ailing Bahadjar at the moment, but is ailing him enough to see him potentially ejected from the podium before we get to lap 30. And that, yeah, it's going to be a quick fall from grace here as Bleakley is now all over the back of Blake. As you mentioned, George, Blake, there's been a couple of times this season already, he did say in the first race, he went too quick, too hard at the start and used up a bit too much of the tyres. Blakely's done the opposite. He's done the opposite. He's saved himself some tyres. As we're coming on lap 24, Bleakley is by far the quickest car on track, and the race lead could change hands for the first time within the next 3 to 4 laps at this pace.
Going to be great. So 0.3 the gap. And look at Kelly Reid. He's right there. And it's going to be a very, very close one indeed. I don't know why we're seeing the deltas giving us something slightly weird. It is not 4 seconds between Kelly Reid and Bahadjar. I think that's actually the interval, the gap between the race leaders. So let's actually pull up the gap so that we have that information as well. There we go. That's a bit better. So here we go. We are on the 24th lap. Lucas Blake trying to make it just that extra little bit of distance. But at the moment, not looking in a position to do so. I don't know if that's actually Kelly Reid. No, Kelly Reid is all the way back here, John. We've been tricked. So actually, that is someone else. That is, let's find them right now. I think that might be, is that Adam Van Dongen? It is Adam Van Dongen, and he's past Bahadjar. So there we go. Bahadjar is not falling back into the reaches of Kelly Reid, though, yeah, I guess in the way he is. And we've had a change for the lead. Here we are. Lucas Blake now finds himself in second position. It's all been happening in the space of a second while we were trying to figure out who that 4th car was. It is Adam Van Dongen. He is coming on through, and he's pushing the leader along. Lucas Blake will be happy with that.
He will, yeah, an extra bit of pace. As they interact with the back marker, takes that inside line. A little bit wavered, but does survive. But yeah, Bleakley then, he's managed these tyres from the start. Blake, he's come out like an absolute shotgun again, and it's done it well for 23 laps, but now we're on 25. He's in second place, and he's now been hunted down by Bahadjar once again. We've had a couple more cars, or another car coming into the pits. These drivers up at the front really are nursing these tyres for as long as possible, and I'm massively impressed that we haven't seen a safety car yet. As we've seen, the back end of these cars will step out, and we've got a lot less grip as we've got De Bono back in the pits. We've got someone just popping out the pits as well. They're going to hold the inside line as the top 2 go past. Van Dongen just goes past Coates as Coates comes out of the pits.
Well, it is Adam Van Dongen. He's still trying to get past and unlap himself from the leader, and I think that's massively helped Chris Bleakley leading this race, because he was behind him. Well, Adam Van Dongen was behind him, pushing him along, and that's actually created quite a sizable gap. Gap up to 0.7 of a second between Blake and Bleakley now at the top. Boom Blake also involved in this, but he's holding that inside line as he rightly should be. Van Dongen is not in the lead of this race. It is Chris Bleakley. And that is the number 19 car we're seeing going past our screens right now. This looks like a little bit of a resurgence from Lucas Blake. He's going to have another attack on that 27.
He is indeed, yeah. He is girdering his loins and looking to get himself back into the lead before they come into the pits.
Apologies. Every
He's
time.
just,
Every
he's really
time.
not happy behind it. Yeah, he's not happy behind the wheel of that car today, is he, George? I mean, from what we've seen from Bahaja so far this season, it's only been one race, he was absolutely solid. This looks like to be a bit of a shaky performance. Oh, the car's ahead. Having a bit of a wiggle. This is a nightmare for the leader, by the way. You've got two blue flags in front of you, and one of them in front has a wiggle, and you think, oh. it was at this point he knew he couldn't finish that sentence.
That is a scary proposition. It's the same. It's the same at any motorsports racing. You get a car ahead that you're not familiar with racing against, and anything can happen. Especially given that this is Adam Van Doggen in 13th place, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong here, but that is De Bono. No, that is not Boone Blake, who is in the pits, in the out lap right now, so I'm not 100% sure who that is on track, but either way, the battle returns. Bleakley versus Blake. Are we going to see them make it 2 more laps? Surely they do at this point. We'll see a flurry of activity. Is anyone going to go for the overcut though, John? Can you stay out there if you think you're good? Maybe Bleakley will be thinking about that today.
Whoa. Another car bouncing off the wall. Lewis Bahaja again touching the wall. Yeah, that could be a possibility, but you're going to have to rely on coming out in traffic to get that slipstream boost. So that's where the real strategy on the overcut lies, or the undercut even. Either or. Whichever strategy you go for, you are relying on coming back out in traffic as Williams comes into the pit on lap number 29. So we are starting to see the tyres drop off ever so slightly, and that is the top runners now coming in for their first and what they will be hoping their only pit stop of the race. I tell you, to get this one done 50-50, that is not too shabby. The last lap's going to be an interesting one with no tyre grip at all. Bleakley and Blake still only half a second separating these two as they stay out. Williams in the pits drops down to 9th place. Llewellyn is going to go past as well. He doesn't come into the pit, so Llewellyn and Hutchins staying out as Williams already on the pit exit. So that is a slick pit stop by Williams. He is in, and Bahaja's come into the pits at the end of lap 29. Lewis Bahaja comes into the pits. Kelly Reid has stayed out. Bleakley and Blake, of course, they've stayed out as well. De Bono is still in the pit lane, but there is Lewis Bahaja. The long and unwinding road into his pit box to get himself some fresh tyres and a bit of fuel. As we've got De Bono coming out.
Indeed. What's fascinating to me is Matthew Searle, who didn't qualify particularly well for this race, is on a bit of a resurgence at the moment. We haven't seen him do particularly many overtakes, but at the end of the day, he has done a little bit of gaining on the field. 8 positions up. Nicholas Heath as well. These guys don't seem to have necessarily the qualifying pace, but their race pace is absolutely monumental. I think every single round so far, John, we have literally seen these guys just make it up all the way through the race. So whatever they're doing in the race is absolutely spot on. Here we go. This is the flurry of pit activity. We have been waiting lap 30, and the trigger's been pulled. The undercut being attempted by Lewis Bahaja. He is 27 seconds behind Clark on track, who's just coming past the cameras in a moment's time. So it's Bleakley, Blake, Kelly Reid, Heath, Searle, Clark in the pit lane alongside Llewellyn. Hutchins just exiting the pits right now, and of course the other Hutchins, D. Hutchins, also just making his way into the pit. De Bono yet to come out, 12 laps down. Boone Blake as well, 8 laps and out of this race. Georgeson, though, still going, and we're going to be wondering exactly what is going to be happening because the exit of this pit is going to be critical. Where is Bahaja? He is coming. He's 400, 500, 400 meters away. I think these guys will still have a decent lead as we see Blakely exit the pits nicely. Yep, he's going to be in a solid position on this one. There goes Bahaja through turn 1. Where is Blake? Actually, Blake's going to be overtaken. Bahaja goes on through and now will be attacking for the lead. So the 1 lap undercut there has actually worked out beautifully for Bahaja. He's actually jumped both of them, John.
Indeed, beautiful pit stop by Bahaja, and he looked like he was losing pace. And he is out, and his tyres are going to be that bit warmer. There's now 1.6 seconds between the lead as he swings around the outside of another one of the back markers. That was Llewellyn that he was going past there in 12th place.
Oh, so it is.
The number 16.
Yeah, we do have the relative up at the moment to the number 16. So there is a sizable gap here, 1.8 seconds. But what's the fallback here? What's the pitfall? Is he going to have to try and extend the stint obviously one lap, not a massive problem, and he's put himself nearly 2 seconds ahead of our leaders, who are well back there, a second between Blake and Bleakley. For second and third, we could have yet another person on the podium. I'll double check. I don't think we've had Buerger on the podium as yet. I'm pretty sure we might be on for a fourth different race winner in this. We had, of course, from round one, Damien Coates. That's right. Then it was Chris Bleakley. Then it was Tom Williams. So if this is a win for Buerger, it'd be our fourth race winner, different race winner in 4 races, something that is usually a bit of a shock and surprise, John, in road racing, as we well know. Maybe not so much of a shock given the way that things go in NASCAR. It is very much toss your coin into the river and pray.
Indeed, yeah. Bleakley and Blake going at it again, but this time it's not for the lead of the race, it is for the final podium positions. They too have got themselves Llewellyn just ahead of them. Nicely navigated at the moment, as they do run a little bit wide. They'll be hoping that slipstream pulls them along and catches them up to Buerger. Buerger was absolutely no place in stint number 1. Absolutely no place in the first stint. He's coming a lap earlier and he's absolutely flying. So whatever he was doing wrong in stint 1, he is looking to correct that, and he really does have the pace to correct it at the moment by the look of it. 4th race winner, certainly on the cards at the moment. Coates and Williams looking close for 4th place as well. They'll be hoping to catch up to these two that we're watching. At the minute. In fact, Williams and Coates just swapping places there.
Yeah, interesting. This is just giving me a bit of deja vu here, John, and maybe you can shed some light in your analytics capability, because you know a little bit more. The angle of attack Lucas Blake has taken into these corners, he seems to be leaning on these tyres a lot more. Whereas Bleakley, if you look at his car entry angle, it's much softer on the entry, and he finds that apex. He's always over that white line, whereas Lucas Blake is not finding that on every corner. So he is using the tyre more heavily, and I feel like this may be advantage Bleakley if Bleakley can save tyres in this way.
Exactly correct. Exactly correct, yes. And that's exactly why he's going the way he's going. And there's even a couple of times you'll see Bleakley, what he'll do is he'll run when he gets close, he'll run towards the higher line, which then forces Blake to stay on that inside line. Of course, they're trying to find as much pace as they can at the moment, and they are finding a bit now. They are closing in on Buerger, but we've only got 25 laps left as Llewellyn finds himself again massively involved in the lead cars. That's them all going past him now, and he will be given a bit of slipstream, much needed slipstream to Bleakley, because while all that's been going on, Blake, who's leaning on those tyres, is certainly leaning on the accelerator as well. Will he have any tyres at the end of the stint? No, that is the big question after the running that he's been doing. Bleakley will be hoping, most certainly not. Buerger is once again hemorrhaging pace to the cars behind. That gap now down to 1.3 seconds, so they're catching him hand over fist at the minute. So whatever pace he had at the start of this stint is certainly being reeled back in by the cars behind. Blake is on an absolute charge at the minute, and of course Bleakley getting that free bit of slipstream from the car behind. Now, of course, if a car is behind you, they're in the slipstream, but the car in front, of course, is receiving some benefit from that as well, because of the way the air is lifted over the top of the two cars. And certainly at the minute, Llewellyn is more than keeping pace with Bleakley, and these two trying to close that gap on Blake ahead. Buerger 1.3 seconds, so he steadied the ship there and equalised the lap times out. So that's done well. Van Dongen catching up to Searle. Searle still in 8th place, so a great race for him so far. Van Dongen looking to take that if he can, although just as I've said that, he's leaned a bit hard through turns 2 and 3, and yeah, he's dropped himself a bit of pace there. So he saw the promised land, he saw the position ahead of him, George, pushed a little bit too hard, and now dropping back off again. It's a high-speed game of cat and mouse as Kelly Reid tries to catch up to Coates as well. Yeah,
we don't always hand out commentators' curse, but when we do it at critical moments in the race. That seems to be the way. You can give us as much flack about that as you like. Georgeson back into the pits, maybe for the last time in this race. Hopefully he's able to stay out for the remainder. Kelly Reid actually reporting some trouble getting his wheel to be set up correctly at the beginning of this race. Luckily, through practice, he was able to get that all sorted out. Hardware issues never too far away from any of us That's whether you're a broadcaster, whether you're a commentator, whether you're a race engineer or a racer, or a league admin, actually, now that I think about it. So this is the battle on track. The closest one currently, Kelly Reid versus Cooke. And looks like Kelly Reid is moving very quickly to the rear bumper of Damien Coates, a one-time race winner. He won round 1. He went at it with a number of different cars and involved in a big incident on the last lap, which was very exciting. And I called for him to go to the steward's office, and then I was told that that's not how it works here. 1 second the gap between Buhajar and Blake, and things are going to get heated up very, very quickly as we see another slide. The temptation of the barrier like a magnet. Buhajar's car just seems to be getting dragged directly into it. John, we've talked about Schrodinger's NASCAR. We've talked about the physics-defying nature of the collisions we've seen here today. No safety car in 38 laps, despite what is a very difficult circuit to go around these corners with the way that the camber is working. We have seen no incidents through here, and the drivers, I don't know, is it a mentality change? Did they need to come to Indianapolis and say, right, we've got to drive fast, but we've got to drive real careful?
Yeah, I think there's a bit of that. Oh, quickly jump onto 5th place. Yep, well spotted. There we go. Kelly Reid and Coates absolutely going for it just outside the podium battles, and they're going to go side by side into turn number 1. That's Kelly Reid has got a beautiful run out of the last corner into turn number 1. Oh, now that's a lot of work on the tyres here. If I was Kelly Reid, well, there's a very good reason why I commentated Kelly Reid's out racing, but if that was me, I'd have been behind Coates again, because I would have run that a little bit wide, try and take a bit of pressure off the tyres. But Kelly Reid feeling confident in the rubber after only being out on them for 9 laps, and does get a very nice move done indeed. And Coates finding it difficult to answer back. But yeah, George, definitely a bit of a mentality change, and I think as well a bit of fear of the walls, because this, again, it's one of these courses where it doesn't have the most severe of bankings, not a lot of centrifugal force, and the drivers will find out very quickly just how easy it is to bounce themselves into the wall. So all that practice they've been doing. Sorry, I've just been completely stopped in the track. Lewis Bahajar's got the fastest lap of the race. 51.770. How on earth does he manage this? He's been absolutely mediocre for the entirety of the race, and he is the fastest car out on track, and that gap is now back up to 1.5 seconds. We definitely need to get him tested for alien DNA. There's something not right about Buhajar. I'm sorry, but we need to just call a spade here, and Buhajar is definitely from another planet. It's absolutely outrageous to be so mediocre in the first stint, and he's now a second and a half ahead and posting the fastest laps of the race.
Yeah, maybe
that
it's one
is
of those
incredible.
things when you use the tyre early on, you can make these incredible lap times. I mean, we did see some really good qualifying times from a number of drivers out there, and clearly Blake and Bleakley and a number of others, especially the rest of the field who have yet to slip into the 51s, either looking after those tyres a little bit more. It's kind of indicative to what we've been seeing, isn't it, at the end of the day? You know, 29 hundredths between Buhajar and Blake in terms of their fastest laps. Bleakley is about 0.5 behind that in terms of his lap times, and he is dropping back. But, you know, if we look at it from the point of view of go for the last 10 laps, Bleakley seems to have this continued strategy idea in his head of just take it easy, don't worry about the gap, don't worry about the slipstream, and then when it's time to go, use the tyres to absolute maximum effect, set a fastest lap, use all the fuel, and good to go. So he's right on the ball in terms of that strategy. We'll see if it pays off for him this time out. With 18 laps to go, we see Lucas Blake cross the finish line. No improvement to that lap time this time out, and 1.6 seconds the gap. So depending on the corners and where we're at, we do see a slight change up in those intervals. It does make me wonder. Which of these corners, John, are they all the same? Are they absolutely identical, or do we have some difference?
Absolutely identical. That is one thing they do well at Indianapolis. The everything is exactly, each of the corners is pretty much identical. There's maybe a 1 or 2 degree difference in the banking, but the angle of attack certainly remains vastly the same for all of the corners. So yeah, very, very, very symmetrical course that the drivers are driving on. Vegas and a couple of others do have some variances. Let me think what's on the calendar.
Not Bathurst, of course.
No.
You know, every corner is slightly different. There is the season
just a slight difference.
Yeah, just a small difference.
Yeah, the pit crews are going to be busy that day. I tell you what, meatballs every place. There will be meatballs for breakfast, supper, dinner, tea, whichever one you use to call them. Oh, De Bono with another meatball, and Heath, the back end of that car stepping out again. Not so excellent there from the I was going, not Mr. Simpson, Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. There we go, on the side of his car.
Boo-earns, the Boo-earns.
The Boo-earns, that's the one.
I do have to give my hats off. The livery guys, I think most of the drivers do make their own liveries as well. Absolutely awesome. You know, you see some great liveries out there. I think there's a sort of troll-looking Joker on the side of Kelly Reid's car as well. The bright yellow. We've had a great livery from Matthew Searle as well. And of course, the guys, Lucas Blake, fantastic livery. Really, really, really cool to see that. So let's just see. We'll see some more liveries, I'm sure, being made at some point. But Boo-earns has certainly been a bit of a standout, I must admit.
So it's a very good one. I'm looking forward to the 12th of November. Bit and shake and bake for the Talladega. It'll be good to see what the teams bring for that one. Blakely certainly bringing the heat at the moment, although not as much as Lewis. I'm going to need to eat a whole lot of humble pie after the race. Buhaja, he is absolutely flying. I've called him mediocre, I've called him average, I've called him everything you would not expect with a race winner. He is now putting an absolute hurt on the rest of the field pace-wise. He is 2 seconds ahead of Blake. He is absolutely sailing. Blake, for me, maybe even wants a bit of an extra lift here. Let Blakely catch up to the back and see if they can bump draft and find some extra pace to counteract the afterburners that Lewis Buhaja has currently got on his car. Is he going to be able to maintain this pace all the way to the end? We are what is that, 2/3 of the way into the race, three quarters of the way into the race, sorry, we're well beyond the 2/3 mark. We are 3/4 of the way into the race, 45 laps done and dusted. Buhaja leading the way with Blake in second, Blakely in third, Williams, Kelly, Reid and Coates all in the top six. Then it's Heath in seventh, who we're on board with at the moment. He's having a good look at Coates. Coates has had to run wide on that one, and Heath is going to sail up the inside line. Very nicely done. Can he hold it on the exit? Oh yes, he can. The back end thought about stepping out there. Coates thought about stepping back through up into sixth position, but nothing doing at the moment. Is he going to be able to keep up and hang in that slipstream? He is indeed. Keeps it nice and close across the start finish line. They are closing up on Kelly Reid ahead of them. De Bono's still in with that meatball. Blakely and Blake now only half a second apart. So either Blake has slowed down or Blakely has sped up, but it makes no difference at all. In fact, Blakely has sped up because Blake has lost another 0.2 of a second to Lewis Buhaja.
He has indeed.
Just absolutely incredible. We're going to need to rename him Verstappen.
Of all the nicknames, of all the things you said about him today, John, and all the things that we've said about him in the past races, and formerly, I'm going to add one more to the list. We formerly called him Buhagia. Which is not the correct name, Buhaja. He was correcting us in chat. We ignored it for the first race, got it right for the second. Probably still slip up over ourselves at some point, I do imagine. Yeah, it is 2.1 seconds the gap. That was actually out to 2.5 seconds briefly. So Blake is in a bit of a spot currently with 13 laps remaining in this race. So less than 13 minutes to go. Seeing that time around just under the minute, so probably about 12 minutes or so. Heath is starting to pull out that gap very, very nicely, as we do see Blakely having a bit of a run here, or it is Blake. I think, honestly, they're both putting the foot down at the moment, because the gap now 1.7 seconds. Buhaja, we saw this, John, at the end of stint one. He started to get real slow. Well, it's starting to happen now, but Blakely is just speeding up. So we're in deja vu territory, ladies and gentlemen. Stint one essentially repeating itself at the moment. Buhaja, the only real difference between them, as we see Kelly Reid make a move on Jared Williams. So the field all starting to come back together. It's exciting for the last 12 laps of this race. We're going to see position changes, and we're going to see challenges for the lead. Can Buhaja hold on to get his first race win and our fourth race winner of the season? Or is it going to be Lucas Blake? We've got two people who have yet to get a P1 spot in a race. Oh, Lucas Blake's run wide. It's an opportunity for Blakely.
Blakely And he's not going to need a second invitation for that. He's absolutely sailed up the inside, the slightest of wiggles there by Blake, and that is Blakely. Very nicely done indeed, and they are within a second. Oh, Buhagiar has lost so much pace. His tyres have absolutely dropped off a cliff. Look at the pace. We've now got 9/10 of a second separating the top three, whereas not long ago we had 2.4 seconds separating first and second. Less than half of that gap now separate the entirety of our podium. And for me at the minute is Blakely, that is looking very good indeed.
Was that a millimetre? Or are we starting to get into nano territory here? Because I feel like that is nanometers unbelievable. He is riding that car so close to the wall. It's just so risky, but he's got to do it.
Oh, yeah, he's absolutely got to do it to find the pace. And I tell you what, Blakely is on a charge. He looks like he quite fancies himself double figures numbers worth of race lead laps towards the end of the race. I'm falling over myself with the adrenaline that's pumping through me here, and I'm not even out on track. Half a second separating the top three, and they've got a 12-second gap back to the rest of the field. So these three free to absolutely battle it out, and I don't think it's going to be much of a battle. I think this is going to be an absolute slaying here.
Oh, here we go.
As Blakely.
Oh, he's going to try and dodge to the inside and chooses the outside eventually. A little bit of an attempted fake by the looks of it. Blake is going to try and follow and looks down the inside line. Oh, this is getting really tight. This is getting really crazy, but that's a nice inside line. Using the tyres beautifully. Blakely's going to have a complete ownership of the apex. In we go into turn 4 and down the first or second straight, the pit straight. They're nearly 3 wide.
They are indeed nearly 3 wide. Blake looking to take advantage from Blakely if he can. Blake does take advantage. He jumps onto the slipstream from Buhagiar. So Blakely opened the door, and it's Blake that's walked on through. Buhagiar in the lead. Blake in second. Blakely in third place. Blake and Blakely, whose names I keep getting confused. It's certainly not looking bleak up at the front. It's looking bleak for Lewis Buhagiar bringing home a race win. He's certainly on for a podium, but the race win. This is all going to have to be about the strategy. We've got 9 long laps. I know these are short laps, under a minute, but for these 3 drivers, they're going to be 9 very long laps. Absolutely locked in as Blake once again walks through the door. Blakely looking to try and follow Blake through, as Blake did with him a few laps ago. That's Buhagiar touching the wall. Buhagiar with the slightest touch of the wall, and that's all the pace gone. And on the way out the corner, it's now Blake in the lead. Blakely in second, Buhagiar into third place, 11 seconds ahead. So Kelly Reid's made up a second on these 3 while they're battling. That's how much pace they've cost themselves on that lap, because Kelly Reid is getting no slipstream whatsoever, and that gap is now heading towards the 10-second mark, as there's only 0.3 of a second separating the top 3 drivers. And it is Buhagiar that is now 0.2 of a second behind, and he is getting left behind. Blake and Blakely. Blakely would certainly be in intention. His intention would have been to be leading the race at this point, but Blake has played an absolute blinder, George. When Blakely went for the move on Buhagiar, Blake positioned his car perfectly, and a lap later finds himself in the lead. A tenuous lead by 1/10 of a second, but the lead nonetheless.
Oh, you got to take it when you get there. And now the hard work begins for Lucas Blake. He's got to keep up this pace ahead of him. Hutchins is going to help with this battle, or maybe not help with it. We shall see in a few moments' time. Buhagiar, I think we're going to have to get a new drinking game going here. It's every time Buhagiar touches the wall, we're going to have to take a shot of bourbon or something like that. Don't condone too much drinking, of course, because I think you'd be blind drunk after that, given the way the race has gone for him so far. 1.1 seconds. He is now continuing to fall. He's overdriven the car a little bit at this end of this race. So really, it is third position finish as long as he gets through. And it's Blake and Blakely are starting to mix it up as well. In the excitement inside line for Blake as he overtakes Hutchins. And is there going to be a bit of a hold up here for Blakely? No, he's going to follow him on through. Outside line for Hutchins as it gets rather close on the exit of turn number 4. And these 2 leaders are going to be battling on the inside line as the 91 car tries definitely to not get involved and become a kingmaker.
A kingmaker, yes. Let's focus on the positive outcomes of what have happened here. But yeah, Blakely and King. Oh my giddy aunt. Blakely and Blake Who thought those would be the names that would trip up a Scotsman? Let's go. Yeah, but Blake and Blakely out in the lead, only 2 tenths separating them. Buhagiar is hemorrhaging pace. He's now 2 seconds behind the top two, and more importantly for him, Kelly Reid is now within 9 seconds with 6 laps to go. He could get to within 2 or 3 seconds here if Buhagiar keeps going at the pace that he's. The two up at the top, within that 1.5 tenths. That is a lot of slipstream they're getting along the start-finish race. So for me, this is where the race win will be decided. Of course, these two make contact. Buhagiar could sail right back in, but he's now 2.5 seconds down. Look at that time to Kelly Reid. It's absolutely tumbling.
Oh, it's like a waterfall at the moment. It is falling up a cliff. Buhagiar actually scraped the wall again. So, excuse me while I do another shot. But here we go, and it was a bit of a defensive move from Lucas Blake on that previous straight, trying to now to break the slipstream and avoid getting sent up the inside for an overtake, and that's probably where Bleakley's going to be looking for it. He may have the tyre advantage. Here we go. It's now under a tenth of a second between the two. He's right on the bumper. Lucas Blake doesn't defend the inside line, but somehow holds the car together. That is unbelievable car control from Lucas Blake. Bleakley briefly takes the lead, but I'm losing my voice now. Unbelievable from Lucas Blake.
Absolutely incredible stuff. Take my breath away again. Wow, the two of them are out again. I was standing to attention there, race fans. Full applause for the two up at the front. I have no idea how he managed to save that then. We're going to go over that one in the interview as Blakely then finds himself on the outside line, and Blake's going to take the lead of the race. Blake takes the lead of the race with 4 to go. Kelly Reid within 8 seconds of Buhagiar, who's back to within a second of these two up at the front. So it goes to show you how much time you lose with that little lateral motion on the back end. Blakely, he's on the outside line here. Blake should pop out of these two corners. No, he won't pop out back in the lead because Blakely sails around the outside to put himself back in the lead of the race. The top two, 2 tenths separate them. Kelly Reid only 7.5 seconds down on Buhagiar with 4 laps to go. Lewis needs to hold on to this podium position for all he's worth. Llewellyn back in the pit lane. So that's a late pit stop there. He was maybe just running a bit, maybe pushed the tyres a bit too hard. He'll be disappointed he's had to pit so late. That puts Coates ahead of him. Heath, Serrell, Clark have all had solid races. They're inside the top 10. Van Dongen as well, after some early jitters and an early pit stop, finds himself running in 10th place as well. We'll see what kind of tyre wear he's got and if he can hold on to that. But the top 2 is where we are focusing at the moment. And now half a second, Blakely. He's decided he's had enough of the shenanigans, doesn't want any more Code Brown moments, so he's just going to sail off in the distance. Nice and easy done. 1.7 seconds back to Buhagiar, and Kelly Reid is now only 6.5 seconds, so he's making up about a second and a half a lap on Buhagiar. He's going to be right on his rear spoiler at this pace on the final lap.
Oh, here we go.
It's going to be a grandstand finish, George.
It certainly will. 3 laps to go. Coming around the back straight right now and into corner number 1. Actually, we've just gone past the finish line, so it is lap 58. Technically 3 laps to go of the 60th lap in a few moments' time. But Blake has fallen right off the place. So Bleakley sitting in the podium 1 position at the moment, right on the top step. What a fascinating bit of action we've had, and we've got another car actually coming up into the rear end of Lucas Blake, so there will be potentially an unlap happening, and Blake just overcooked it a bit. He may have picked up a bit of damage though as well from that contact that we saw a couple of laps ago with the number 19. Tried the inside line. Lucas Blake wasn't particularly decisive on the defensive maneuver and didn't hold the outside line either, so left an opportunity for Bleakley essentially to come on through. Bleakley didn't need a second go at it. I think there was a redress of the position, but at that point it was pretty much all over, and Bleakley had the pace to send it on through and now finds himself 1.3 seconds in the lead as we head through onto the 59th lap of this race. Incredible stuff. Kelly Reid dropped back a little bit that last lap, not quite as good as the previous one. Yeah, 4 tenths down on Buhagiar's time. So he has lost a bit there, and he's going to have to do a monumental effort. I mean, this is going to have to be a 52 for a couple of laps here in a row. I don't think he's going to have that in the car at this late stage of the race. So the podium at the moment looking like this. It is Bleakley, Blake and Buhagiar, and it is Kelly Reid And then, of course, we've got Jared Williams in 5th position. Heath is there. So the Boo Earns is present in this race, half a second behind, and I think that's going to be an overtake for 5th position for Nicholas Heath, who's been on the podium a number of times. Yeah, this is going to be easy pickings here. The Phantom Sim Sports car not going to be much of an overtake. White flag is out. We're on the last lap of this race, and so here we go. The last little battle that we're seeing, as we do see an interesting pit maneuver there. There we go. Not an actual crash maneuver, but a maneuver to enter the pits for Jared Williams right at the end of this race. That unleashes Nicholas Heath back into the lead, but into 5th position. Overall, Matthew Searle will pick up 6th, so a good bit of work by him today. But it is Bleakley. It's been Bleakley who's been sitting behind, waiting patiently and calmly, letting the others use their tyres. And he has been saving and waiting patiently. And that, John, is exactly what we alluded to many, many times. Last corner, here we go, onto the final straight. And it will be Bleakley across the line to pick up the race win. Excellent work by him today. Strategy executed absolutely beautifully. A shame for Lucas Blake. He's not going to get his first race win, but he is on the podium for the first time. And he will actually be able to have an interview with us here in the commentary box for the league that he administers. Great to see him have a good recovery race from what's been a dismal start to the season. It will be... Oh, Buerger. Buerger has had a major incident, and he is finished in 5th position. He's run out of fuel. John, Buerger has run out of fuel and lost the podium position.
Wow. I'm absolutely stunned by that. Yeah, Buerger losing. Yeah, I did mention at the start that we're going to see anybody run out of fuel and lose a podium on the last lap. I verbalised that at the start of the race, so my apologies to Buerger. The long-range curse of the commentator kicking in there. Buerger down to 5th place. Kelly Reid up onto the podium. Phenomenal drive for Kelly Reid there. Great result.
I didn't know a commentator's curse could last 60 minutes. Turns out it absolutely does. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Your race results will be up in a few moments' time. We'll join you over at the pre-race chat for our interviews. Alrighty, here we go. Let's get our results up for the race. That was intense. That was incredibly intense. And in fact, our podium not going to include Lewis Buerger today. It will include Jack Kelly Reid in 3rd position, followed by Lucas Blake in 2nd, and Chris Bleakley in 1st. Nicholas Heath finishes in 4th position, followed by Matthew Searle, Kelvin Clark in 6th and 7th. Jared Williams picks up 8th position. Jason Hutchins in the 91 car for 420 Oz picks up 9th. And then rounding out the podium, it is our man who was on debut last week, Adam Van Dongen in P11. It is Damien Coates, followed by Daniel Hutchins, Ryan Llewellyn, Wade Georgeson, Dylan DeBono, and Boone Blake not having the race that they would have wanted to today. They had issues early on in the race, and of course, as you can see there, 48 laps and 56 laps down respectively, so not ideal for their race. John, break it down for us before we get to our interviews.
Yeah, I mean, all about the fuel, all about the tyres, and it's all about that long game around a short track. 2.5 miles covered in under 52 seconds repeatedly by the drivers, and at the end the podium decided by the all-important fuel management. Lewis Buerger losing out to 2 places right at the death there. An incredible drive by Bleakley and Blake up at the front, though. These two really did look like from early doors they were going to be the two running the race, and of course almost running away with it completely in stint number 1. Blake had a big fight back in stint number 2. Buerger looked good at the start of stint number 2, but just completely dropped off a cliff compared to the rest of the field. And then, of course, the fuel management didn't go his way, and he's off the podium. An incredible drive by everyone on the podium. Kelly Reid handed that absolute gift to the gods. But Searle, Clark, Williams, Hutchins, and Van Dongen. Van Dongen with another good display after a solid debut last time out, finds himself in 10th place. De Bono making his debut today, qualified in the top 3 rows. Unfortunately couldn't bring it home. An early meatball saw him retire to the pits. All action, all the time. Oval racing is the greatest thing on the planet, bar none. Come at me, bro.
I might have to fly my way out to Scotland and fight you on that one. I'm getting more and more convinced, let's just put it that way. It's getting closer and closer. Certainly some incredible action out there on track. Right, we are ready for some interviews. So we are going to start, in this case, we actually do have Lewis Buhaja in the chat, although he didn't get onto the podium. But maybe it'll be worth an interview with him anyway, because we want to find out what happened to the man who was destined to be on 3rd position all the way. I don't know if we're going to get Kelly Reid in the commentary box today, so I think we will start, in fact, with Lewis Buhaja. Let's talk to him now. John, over to you for the interviews.
Yes, good evening, chaps. Great race out there, Lewis. Welcome into the commentary box. We did think you were on for a podium there, and just at the death, ran out of the old go-go juice. It was certainly a race of 2 halves, and in each half there was 2 halves, Lewis. You were looking good at the start of the stints, but then towards the end, pace just dropping off ever so slightly. How was that race for you?
Eventful to say the least. Yeah, ran out of fuel towards the end. I just couldn't quite do 30 lap stints. That's why I pitted on lap 29 in the first stint, and then I was just willing to just run the gauntlet and see if I ran out of juice or not, and lo and behold I did. So, oh well, it's all fun.
Indeed it is, and I mean it looked fun out there. We talk about Indianapolis not having a lot of banking around the corners. Quite a few times. I did say at the start of the race this was going to be a bit of a back-end simulator, back-end control simulator, and the back of the cars certainly looking lively. You had a couple of little scrapes through the wall there, just pushing that little bit too hard, Lewis. Talk to us about Indianapolis.
Yeah, it's certainly not the easiest track. Yeah, I hit the wall I think more times than what I didn't, so yeah, no, it's a great track. I love running around here. Just sloppy race on my end.
Yeah, not quite making it onto the podium, but still a decent season that you've had so far with your one race, quick trip to the podium. Oh no, sorry, you didn't make it to the podium race 1. This is only your second race. How are you feeling going ahead? Where have we got next week again?
I'm honestly not sure.
That would be Atlanta. Atlanta's up next.
Oh, it's Atlanta next. Of course it is. Yeah, how are we feeling ahead of Atlanta next week, Lewis?
Hopefully if I can just keep it out of the wall and hopefully put enough fuel in it, we might be alright.
There we go. Keep it out of the wall and keep enough fuel in it. They are top strategies there, Lewis. Absolutely love it. But yeah, congratulations on today's result. Massively unfortunate that you didn't quite get that podium. Kelly Reid, of course, stealing it at the death. But 5th place. Some good points, and yeah, still plenty of the season to go, and of course Bathurst, the great equaliser for the season. So yeah, congratulations today and best of luck for next week, my man.
Thanks, mate.
All right, we will go to Lucas Blake next.
Indeed, yeah, Lucas Blake, I mean, and Blakely. Apologies, I've got both your names massively wrong. There was a Bleak and a Blakely and all kinds of things going on, but Lucas, that was quite the race there, with 2 laps to go. A bit of contact on the rear from Chris Bleakley almost ended the whole thing. How much did you see your racing life flash before your eyes there on lap 57?
Oh, it was just, that was a struggle to keep the car in line there, and it ended up pretty much ending my shot at the win, unfortunately, because it caved in the back of the truck and I didn't have any downforce. So those last few laps, it was just a struggle to keep it straight, unfortunately. But I really enjoyed, up until that point, the battle with the 18 and the 19. I thought that was really fun. I just wish we could have kept it clean.
Indeed, yeah, it was full to the wall. I'm not sure I can say that. How did you find Indianapolis yourself? We heard from Lewis there. It's all about the tyre and the fuel management. He ran out of fuel. How were your tyres over the 60 races today?
I felt like I had this weird middle band where they weren't really working for me. Like I felt like I was really, really fast on the start. My 1 lap pace was great. You know, we qualified on pole position, and I felt like I was really good in the start of stints, but then in the middle, I just lost it, and Chris would gain on me and Lewis would pull away from me, and it was difficult to manage. But there at the end, I felt like it kind of came back to us, especially at the end of that last stint, and I felt like I was doing really well there. So it's definitely a management race. You got to take care of your fuel. You got to take care of your tires. But if you can, provided you can get that right, it's a lot of fun, and there's some fantastic wheel-to-wheel action to be had as well.
There really is. And your first podium of the season as well, Lucas. A marker down for the rest of the season going into Atlanta?
Yeah, I'd like to hope that this is more indicative of where we're going to be the rest of the season than what we saw at Daytona and Charlotte, because those two races, I was just stepping on a bunch of rakes. It was just one thing after another, and it's nice to, if not get the win, at least end up in the top 3, and hopefully we can make some inroads on the championship.
Indeed, yeah. How are you feeling ahead of Atlanta next week?
Atlanta was a really fun one last season, and I think I ended up second by about half a car length from Nicholas Heath. It's just going to be super speedway races are never my strong suit, because it's just it's wreck avoidance, and it's a game of chess, really. You got to pit at the right time, you got to pick the right lines, and it's not necessarily something I'm good at. But I'm going to go out there. I'm going to try my best. I like the track. I feel like the truck races really well there. So I'm looking forward to it. And whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I don't expect to win there, but I'm going to give it my best for sure.
Nice. We'll love to hear it. We'll love to hear it. Well, yeah, congratulations again, Lucas. A phenomenal race today, bringing home a well-deserved podium. Battle for the win was definitely on the cards, but second place, some good points. So yeah, huge congratulations again for today, and best of luck for the rest of the season, Lucas.
Well, thank you.
There we go then, folks. That was Lucas Blake, second place. In first place, it was the battler himself, Mr. Chris Blakely. A phenomenal race, Chris. Some incredibly intense battles going up at the top, and some interesting strategies. Of course, Lewis Bahadur coming in a lap before everyone and getting back out 2 seconds ahead when you came back out of the pits. Give us an overview. How was that race for you? I mean, it was intense watching from up here, that's for sure. Do we have Chris?
Oh, sorry. Sorry, have you got me now?
There we go. There he is.
Yeah,
Welcome
sorry,
into the comedy box,
sorry,
Chris.
guys.
How was the race, mate?
Yeah, it was good race. Yeah, from the get-go, I wasn't gonna push the limits. I was just gonna conserve and let those two go set the pace. Yeah, it was great, and yeah, first stint sort of showed my long run pace. They got out to a 4-5 second lead, and I wound them back in. Led a few laps before the pit stop, so I knew I was sort of good on the long run. And in that second stint, let them go again, and then chased them back down and passed them, and passed one, and then got up to Lewis, and then Lewis seemed like he was struggling, and then Blake sort of bumped him through, and both got through back on me, and then yeah, it was a good battle. Unfortunately, at the end there, I think we were just racing really hard. Lucas was, putting up a really strong defense for many laps up until that point. Like, he was blocking pretty hard. He wasn't giving me much room. Well, he wasn't doing anything wrong, but he wasn't giving me much room to get around him. And when we went down the back straight and he sort of didn't really show anything, I sort of went low, and I thought, at the time I thought he'd probably come down a bit too hard on me, but I apologise for it. I didn't want it to end that way. I wanted it to be a clean pass, and like I seen him go around, and I sort of gave him a tap to straighten him up, and which sort of caved the back of his truck in a bit. But I think if I didn't do that, he might have lost it completely. But then, I got out of the gas, and I thought I'd let him back past and we'd resume the battle, but I think his truck was just too wounded at that point. So, tried to readdress the situation, but I think that's just what happens when there's hard racing. At the end of the day, it was really good up until that point, and my apologies to Lucas, and hope we can have another battle like that again, because it was really good.
Yeah, it was an absolutely intense battle, and as you say, some hard racing going on, and it's easy to get involved in hard racing at a course like Indianapolis. Another bit of a management race, not quite as much as Atlanta is going to be, of course, but that is another trip onto the podium. Chris, it's been a good start to the season for you so far.
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, well, I haven't really been off the podium, so that's a bonus. But yeah, there's been a bit of misfortune from some of the other guys, which has sort of given me a bit of opportunity here or there. But yeah, no, it's good to be where we're at.
And DJ, and how are you feeling ahead of Atlanta, another one of the super speedway courses, and of course the last break before Bathurst? How are we feeling going into Atlanta next week?
Atlanta, I just want to try and survive, and probably like most super speedways, I'm just going to aim for top 5 maybe. If I'm finished 5th, I'm not going to be disappointed, because that means I sort of survived to the end. So yeah, so there, yeah, super speedways is, yeah, hang on and try and miss the big one, and if you're there on the last lap, try and make a move. So yeah, if I come out of it with a top 5, I'll be happy.
Yeah, absolutely. In this field, yeah, top 5 is definitely a decent result. But it is the top spot that you've got this week, Chris. Another trip on to the podium, 4 for 4 so far this season. Definitely looking like one of the championship favourites so far. Huge congratulations again on a great race today, and absolute best of luck going into Atlanta and the rest of the championship.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, there we go, George. The podium interviews, Lewis, Chris and Lucas. And of course, Jack Kelly-Reid was on the podium. Lewis jumped into the commentary box, he ran out of fuel. But yeah, Jack Kelly-Reid on the podium as well, George. Incredible racing right down to the end, and we'll do it all again at a super speedway next time out.
Oh, we are looking forward to it. Super Speedways showing up a few times on this race calendar. Of course, for those of you who need a little refresher on that, of course, next week, 22nd of October, heading to Atlanta. Then it's the Mid-Season Classic, 29th of October. Join us for our round of Mount Panorama for a standard config. It's going to be a really interesting 25-lap race. Then the second half of the season, Auto Club, Talladega, Martinsville, Michigan, and Homestead, Miami. Going to look forward to all of that. Today, what a fantastic race. We'll have the championship points, of course, available on simracerhub.com. Go and type in Tasman Racing League. You can find all the results there, and we'll have them up at the beginning of the next time out. John, final thoughts from yourself before we round out the stream? Because I tell you, that was as exciting as you made it out to be at the end of round 3.
Indeed, yeah, Indianapolis very much doing Indianapolis things. The drivers really doing a phenomenal job mastering the back end of the cars. They didn't quite all do a top job mastering the amount of fuel required to run the end of the race. I'm sure those calculations will be done a bit more concisely for the next time out. But yeah, Indianapolis very much doing Indianapolis things, hard racing all the way to the end, and some well-deserved podium drivers on the end, and bring on the super speedway carnage, because we will see yellow flags at that one, I can assure you.
Absolutely right. So round 4, Chris Bleakley takes his 4th podium of the season and 2nd race win. Very close call there for Lucas Blake. Finds his first podium of the season, as does Kelly-Reid. So Jack Kelly-Reid not able to join us in the commentary box today, with Lewis Buhajar unfortunately running out of fuel at the end, dropping from the podium position literally 100 meters away from the start line. So exciting stuff, and as we barrel towards halfway through the season, we are looking forward to the next race. You've been watching, of course, on TrackSpotTV, the YouTube. Give us a like and a subscribe, and if you need any commentary and broadcasting services, please head over to our website, www.trackspot.tv. Check out the description. We've got the Tasman Racing League Discord link in there if you're interested in oval racing or road racing. Come and check out Tasman Racing League. They are putting on some of the best shows in iRacing in Australia and New Zealand. Big thanks to Lucas Blake. It's been myself, George Cooke, and John Wright in the commentary box. Stay safe out there. Take care. We'll see you back here same time, same place in a week's time for the next round number Atlanta. It is literally round Atlanta. It's going to be a good one. Take care. Stay safe. We'll see you there next time. Bye-bye.